Hello again. This is our third session in mosaic art for the Expressions Cafe in Warsaw at Bridge Street. I hope you're all well. I was having a little problem with the other project I was doing. I ran out of enough tiles to complete the Moroccan table that I showed you, so I will get back to that. But for this week, I wanted to do something different for you. So I had this old glass vase that you can see now. I love this vase, but it actually got some chips in it and inside as well, so it wasn't safe anymore to use. So I thought it would be nice to do a project with that today. Now I filmed the making of this project. It was about 3 hours or just over 3 hours. So I I increased the speed 3 times so that you can see what I'm doing much faster. And I thought it would be nice for you to see the collection of stained glass that I have at home. So all this glass that I'm showing you now is glass that friends have given me over the years. Some of it was for free. Some of it was I just gave, a little bit of money to my friends for the glass. But normally, if you were to go to a shop and buy this kind of glass, it would be quite expensive. It can be very expensive depending on the color and, the texture of it. The glass that I'm cutting here is around about 3 millimeters thick, 3 to 4 millimeters thick. The glass that I'm using here, the transparent glass, is just ordinary glass. Obviously, it's not stained glass. Again, I'm not really sure, where it all came from. It's just a collection of lots of glass that I have. And I'm keeping all of these things because, like I said, it can cost a lot of money, and it's just really nice to have a nice collection of colors and textures and things. So this blue glass that I'm using now, as you can see, also has a nice texture. The glue that I'm using is the glue that I had at the cafe that we used before. It's called Gorilla Glue, and you can use it for a variety of projects, but it's really, actually I found it was ideal for the project that I completed today. It's transparent. It does have a smell to it, but it's not really anything, it doesn't smell very, very strongly. And it's ideal to glue glass on glass. Now, it is tempting to use a glue gun for this job. Glue guns are very, very popular in crafts, but the type of glue that glue guns have, the silicone glue, that specific type of silicone glue is not suitable. And I will show you at the end the very first piece that I stuck down. You can see it there on the top, the transparent one. I used the glue gun just to see what would happen, and the first thing that I didn't like was that it didn't dry clear, so it was a bit dull. But that was no good for this project, because the whole point of this mosaic vase is to show off the beautiful colors of the glass. So I just did the first piece with the glue gun, and then at the end of it, basically, it came off very easily. Now, this glue that I'm using cost me £6, and it does say on the tube that it gives you time to rearrange your pieces, so that's really ideal when you're making a mosaic, because your pieces are in place, but in their final place, but you still have the chance to move them around for quite a long time. So it took me around nearly 4 hours to complete this vase, and now that I am recording this audio, some of the glue is still workable, so I can still move a few of the pieces around if I want to make any adjustments. So that, I think that's really, really good, especially for somebody who doesn't have a lot of experience and is not very confident in using, the glass. Now, I don't know, of course you can see from the video that this glass that I'm using now is much, much sharper than the glass that we use, most of the glass that we use at the cafe. That was my son's hand just then, and I moved him away quickly. So you do need to be very, very careful when you're cutting this type of glass. It's basically just like a normal glass plate or something if that broke, in your hands. So you do need to be very, very careful, and please don't clean up, with bare hands like I mentioned before. So when you finish your work, or if you want to push some glass out of the way, use something else to do that, like a brush or a tissue or your tweezers or something. Don't push it away with your fingers if you can help it. I'm just showing you a few different pieces of things that I have. I'm looking at the different colors. I had my mind set on this vase to have a lot of that beautiful blue, like a tropical sea kind of blue. I also have huge amounts of blue. If you want me to bring some more when we meet again. I'm cutting the pieces at a similar size, but not exactly the same. I just had this idea in my mind about how I would like it to look in the end, and I didn't analyze it that much. I just went ahead and started cutting pieces, and I thought, I would really like to do vertical lines for this particular project. But if you look carefully, the way I'm putting the pieces down is not random. I mean, it's not without thinking. I'm not just sticking the pieces down. I'm trying to stagger the lines. So the lines that you get, the gaps that you get in between the glass tiles, I didn't want those to be all aligned. So I didn't want them, to create like straight lines going across. So I'm cutting the pieces in a similar size, similar length, shall I say. So they all have round about the same width, but I'm cutting them at different lengths, so that when I glue the pieces down, my final lines will be staggered, and that for me, is very important. Now what's happening here, as you can see, is I've only just started, and the glue is, the pieces are moving around, so basically they're sliding off the glass. But like I said before, this specific type of glue, if it even says it on the tube that you have so much time. I can't remember how much time now. It gives you some time to move them around, and I suppose that depends a lot on the temperature of the room that you're working in. So if you're working in a warm environment, it will take longer probably for the glue to dry, I think. And I was a bit worried in the beginning. I was thinking, oh, I'm doing all this work now and the pieces are going to start moving around. But actually, after some time, after about an hour, the glue started to set. So the pieces were still movable, but they were not, sliding all over the place. So every time I do a line and then I'm ready to do the next one, I just moved them back. I move them back into the place where I want them to be. Another thing I wanted to mention about working on glass is that you need to make sure that your glass is clean before you start gluing glass on your glass base. So I cleaned, I didn't show you, but I cleaned this vase. You can just wash it first in hot soapy water, exactly the same way that you would wash, any other glass dish or anything like that. And then if it still has like traces of fat on it or anything like that, then you can use nail polish remover or alcohol if you happen to have any pure alcohol at home, for medicinal purposes. Then you can just use that with a cotton wool, and that helps to clean it really well. And then your glass will stick much better onto the glass. Now with stained glass, as you can see, it comes in much larger sheets. You can buy stained glass from mosaic art shops, but again, like I've said in the past, you need to shop around. Don't just buy the first thing that you see because you love it, because you love the color so much. Shop around, look on eBay, see if you can get maybe job lots of offcuts of stained glass of different colors. A lot of the mosaic art shops now, online shops, they usually have a section where they have clearance, so you can find pieces of glass that are on special offer. And a lot of the times they sell like a bundle of stained glass tiles or stained glass, offcuts. So if you're interested, I can give you some links and I can give you the names of different shops where you can find this type of glass. Obviously, stained glass artists, I'm not sure. I suppose they use this type of, these cutters, but I think they use mainly the other type of wheeled cutters with the oil in them. But what I found is that you can cut really nice shapes with the wheeled cutters. As you can see, I'm just cutting them with the wheeled cutters. Wheeled cutters are ideal for cutting glass mainly, not ceramic or stone. And what I found is that you can see that sometimes when I go to cut a piece, it doesn't come out straight, it comes out curved. And what I found from my experience is that these cutters are really, really good. You can cut straight lines, but only up to a certain length of glass. So if you see here just now, I had a larger piece of this really gorgeous cloudy glass, and I cut it in half first. So I cut it to the width that I wanted, and then I took the smaller piece and cut it into the stripes that I wanted. And you just have to get to know your material. Basically, the more you work, the more different types of tiles you use, the more confident you will become in cutting, and you will just see that every type of glass is different and cuts differently. I don't know, I was quite excited about doing this project. This was another project that I had at the back of my mind, and I was always looking at that vase, and I was thinking, shall I throw it away, because it wasn't good enough to go to the charity shop, so I was thinking, shall I just throw it away? But I kept it, and now I'm really happy that I did. I will show you maybe next week when I've given it a clean as well. I'll show you, more what it looks like, and maybe put some flowers in it. But yeah, I am really, really pleased with what I completed today. Another thing is that, as you can see, this is much faster than the speed that I was working at. When you're working with glass, make sure that you're pressing your pieces down really, really well, so that you don't get bubbles or kind of lines from the glue underneath. That's something that depends on you as well, and your personal taste. You might not mind, you might like it if you can kind of see the glue underneath. So that's just something to think about. And also you need to press them down very firmly, because obviously they're flat, and glass on glass, you just want to make sure that the glass is stuck down properly. Now, at this stage, I haven't used any grout. I will wait for it to dry, because right now I'm just, I need to post this video tonight, so I don't have time to do grouting as well. But I definitely don't want to use like an opaque grout. I have heard that you can find transparent kind of filler or transparent grout, but I'm not sure. I need to look into that and see if I can find something. And the only reason I want to do that is just for safety, to make sure that nobody's going to cut themselves, when they're touching the vase, because the finished project looks really beautiful, but it does have, the gaps in between the glass pieces, and they're not extremely sharp, but they can be a bit sharp. So just for safety, I want to make sure that I'm safe as well, that it's not going to cause any problems. So I'll let you know next week if I found something suitable, if I can maybe use just some silicone. I don't know. I'm also not sure if you can actually wash the object after with this glue. I'll have to wait and see. but I know that Gorilla Glue is supposed to be a very good glue for crafts and for making things in general. And I think this has really opened up the way for me to do more things, you know, mosaic, kind of transparent mosaics, glass on glass. It's really, really nice. You can put what you call them, tea lights. You can put a tea light inside something like this. You know, there's just, the possibilities are endless with what you can do. So from time to time, when I'm doing this work now, as you can see, I go back and I check what's happening, you know, if the pieces have moved too much. I'm kind of checking to see that they are vertical, that they're not, the lines are straight. I want it to look handmade. I'm not using a ruler. You probably know that by now, that I don't like things to be, you know, absolutely perfect. When it comes to mosaics, I like it to look handmade and to have some kind of movement in it. And that's the reason that I didn't want to cut the pieces perfectly, you know. You try to have a flow. Here, my husband said, well, why don't you use some sellotape to keep the pieces in place while the glue is drying? So I tried that. I just put the sellotape on very, very gently. That helped a little bit. So I suppose that's something that you can do as well if you're working on a curved surface, like a round, you know, pear-shaped vase or something like that. You can use just ordinary sellotape. This glass is really, really beautiful. It just looks like water, you know, like a deep sea water. So, but I didn't have a lot of that, so I used what I had. I was quite messy with this project. I was just too excited to get on. I wasn't thinking anything else really. And it would have been really funny if you could hear what was going on in the background when I was working. I had the kids, you know, they were screaming, fighting, dropping things on the floor. So yeah, that wouldn't have been an ideal background noise for this project. And it's much more practical for me personally to just do my work and then talk over the video. So I hope that's okay with you. Like I said before, if you have any ideas about other projects that you would like me to do, if you have any questions or anything like that, please let me know. You can call me anytime. You can text me. I'll give you my phone number. My phone number is 079 894 13113. So you can just text me anytime you like, and or call me and we can have a chat. Some of these pieces were not completely flat on the edge of them. You can't see very well on the video, but this is all handmade glass, as far as I can tell. So some of those large pieces that I had, the edge of them actually curves up. So I didn't want to use that bit. That's why I was just cutting them in such a way. But the colors are just really, really beautiful. Something different, you know, something a little bit more elegant, I would say. You can go to charity shops or other, you know, high street shops that sell cheap glasses, or what do you call them, tea light holders and things like that. And if you see something interesting, not interesting actually, you want something plain, so you can just find a plain colored glass or a bowl or something like that anywhere, or find something that you have in the house, and you can use any type of transparent glass. You just have to make sure you have the right glue, and just please be very careful when you're cutting and when you're cleaning, like I said before. I'm almost halfway here when I'm doing this, so it actually went quite fast, faster than what I expected. I really liked this transparent glass because it has a texture to it. It's usually the kind of glass they use for windows, you know, when you go to people's houses and they have like a French doors or something like that, and the glass is textured so you can't see through. It's kind of like that, and I still have quite a little bit of that, so that really inspired me to start this project. And then I have all these other, I don't have a huge range of colors, but the ones that I have are really good. So I've got this forest green that I'm using now. That's really good as well. You can't really see now on the video, but most of this glass that I'm using, the one side of it is really smooth, just like normal glass, and the other side has a kind of texture to it. So obviously I tried to put the smooth side facing down and keep the textured side on top. With this particular piece of glass, again, I'm trying to use to cut it in such a way that the veins of the glass are going downwards. So I wanted this particular piece of glass to show the veins going down, because, you know, that's the flow of my vase. And again, I'm pushing them all up back in their place. Because I have so much dark blue. I still have a huge amount of very dark blue stained glass, and so now I'm thinking, you know, where else can I use it? I mean, it would be very beautiful again on something where you could put a lamp inside, or maybe a large candle to show through. So I'm already starting to think now about my next project, what I'm going to do. This time I didn't need to use tweezers because obviously the pieces are quite large, so I found that it was much easier to control, you know, what I'm doing with without the tweezers, and also without the gloves. I mean, it's not really the best thing for your skin. I'm gonna have to put lots of cream on my hands, but sometimes you just have to do what you have to do. But like I said in the previous video, please don't use, try not to touch the grout or the towel adhesive with bare hands, because, you know, that's how allergies happen. And it happened to me, and now I'm suffering really. My skin is extremely sensitive. You know, there's no way I can touch washing up liquid, or the last few weeks actually I had a serious problem with my skin. I couldn't even wash my hands with normal soap, so I had to get in touch with the doctor, and he gave me a special cream. So these things, you know, at first it doesn't affect your skin, but after some time, if you just keep touching all these different chemicals, it does affect your skin. So I have been a little bit naughty today, but I think it'll be okay. I'm just checking my colors, how they look. Some of them look really, really dark when you put them against an opaque surface, obviously. But then once you put them on your glass surface, they have a beautiful glow. And again, this red that you're looking at now, again, it was curved on the one side. So I'm just cutting them to the size that I need, so that they can be completely flat. This would also make a really nice Christmassy project, like the white, green and red. I try to use plastic containers for my glass, to store my glass, and if I can get transparent containers, that's even better. The ones we have at the cafe, you know, the ones that you get when you get a takeaway, like a Chinese takeaway or an Indian takeaway, they're really good because they are transparent, so you can see what you have, but also I think it is safer. So you don't really want to store your mosaic glass in glass jars, because then it's just going to make it even heavier, and I'm just always scared that, you know, the children or somebody else might knock them over But when you have plastic containers, I think that's the best thing. That's what I found anyway. As you can see there, the red is sliding down now, so I need to push that up again when I'm ready. I'm sorry I haven't used any music yet. I would like to put some like music in the background, but I I still haven't figured out how to download. Like I want to download just one piece of music instead of putting lots of different types of music, you know, on the one video. So sorry about that. I'm just trying to make my videos more interesting as much as possible. If you would like to make something and try to sell it, I think that it's even more important to make sure that you're using the right kind of glue, the right kind of materials. Like I said in my other videos, you know, if you want to make something and sell it, my opinion is that you should always try and get the best materials for that. You want to use tiles that won't fade over time, that are not going to chip away, you know, and obviously use the right thing for the right project. So for example, if you want to do something that will be outdoors, try not to use, for example, ceramic tiles that are glazed on top, because eventually that glazing will come off, especially in this country. So you're much better off using proper frost-proof glass for something like that. The glass that we use at the cafe is ideal for outdoor projects because it is weatherproof. And again, the glue or the tile adhesive or the mortar that you're going to use needs to be suitable for that specific project that you're doing. You need to do a little bit of research just to make sure that, you know, you won't have any problems after. With this project, it's something that I'm just going to keep at home. So, you know, I'm not worried about it, but still, I would like to see if I can find some type of filler, or I don't know, maybe I can just even use the same glue to fill in the gaps, just to make sure that there's no sharp edges that can cut your fingers, you know, when you're just using the vase in your everyday life. These cutters that I'm using, I can't remember now, I think they cost around £20. You can get cheaper ones, they're called, what are they called now? I can't remember. The main brand that's more popular is called Leponit wheeled nippers. They are supposed to be the better ones. They are the ones that cost about 20 to 22 pounds. And then if you wish, in the future, you can buy replacement wheels, which will cost you around about 11 to 12 pounds. These cutters that we use in the cafe are Leponit cutters, and they usually come with a little Allen key that you can use to tighten the wheels or to replace them. You know, you can just take them off and replace them. Now, there are also cheaper versions of these cutters. Some of them are okay, some of them are not that good. So just be careful again when you're buying something like that. I think for wheeled nippers, if it's anything under £15, I would be cautious. It's just one of those things where it's better if you pay a little bit extra to get something that will do the job properly. Or, of course, you can always borrow mine as long as you bring them back. I have found that these type of nippers are just the best for me. In the past, when I first started doing mosaics, we never had this type of cutters. We only had the other ones. I can't show you now, but we had the other ones, you know, the cheaper ones, and they're really only meant to be used for ceramic or stone. So it was a real pain sometimes using them to cut glass, and especially the gold leaf glass. But then when I discovered these type of nippers, everything changed. It became much easier to cut glass. The only thing is you just need to practice a little bit, because like we said before, they can cut in curves, kind of, because they are wheeled. But that doesn't bother me personally. It doesn't, but you can see that little red piece of glass now on the table, that it looks a little bit curved on the right side. But as for me, as long as it's not too curved, that just gives more character to each piece. It doesn't bother me. I hope that you have enjoyed this video. Next week I will try to show you the Moroccan table. I'm planning to finish it this week. I hope I can finish it. You know, I've started it now, so I just really want to see it finished and in my living room. But I just need to order some more brown glass or whatever, so hopefully I can do that, and then in my next video I can show you you know, my progress, and you can send me messages and tell me what you think, if you think it was good or not, if it's, I don't know, maybe if it's too old-fashioned. Just give me your opinion. I would love to hear your opinion on the whole project. At this point now of the video, I am starting to get a little bit tired. My hands are sticky, but I just want to complete it so that you can see what I've done. I also tried to use a kind of a pattern in the sequence of colors, but I wasn't counting. I was just, see, this one here was an attempt to make gold leaf glass. You didn't see it very well. That last piece there was actually 2 pieces of glass with a gold leaf in between. I think my friend tried to fuse the 2 together and see what happens. So that was interesting. But yeah, I'll show you after. There's a kind of a pattern in the colors, but not an exact pattern. So I'm using the transparent glass, red, light blue, darker blue, green, lighter green, and that was the color scheme. So they're not all exactly the same, but it's just that group of colors. The way that I'm cutting the glass is, I know it's really messy. I was very messy this time, but I still make sure that when I cut the glass, the piece that's going to fall, it's going to fall on the table. So I'm checking now, there's no glass on the floor at all. I made sure that when I'm cutting my glass, it's contained in on the table at least. And of course, what you can do is you can use a large tub and cut your glass in there, just for safety and just to save the cleaning after. What I'm doing here is because I have almost finished, I am checking to see if I can fit the lines, the stripes of the glass, if I can fit it in there equally, because I didn't want to have a gap in the end that would be too big or too small. So I just quickly measured the width and it was perfect. I didn't measure it, it just happened to be perfect, so I was happy about that. And then I'm just cutting my last few pieces here. I just try to keep that pattern, not repeating the colors too often. And then you will see at the end that I put some mosaic pieces on the top as well. Also on the edge of the vase, I glued, I think it was in fact this color, this dark turquoise, that I put on top, just to make it look a bit neater. This piece of glass now, it has some writing on it with a Sharpie, but that's not a problem because in the end, when it's all dry, I can just give it a clean. You can get rid of that again with the nail varnish remover or alcohol, or just plain soap, scrubbing it with some soap, but just be very careful because you don't want your pieces to start coming off. So these are also samples. So my friend gave me, this was years ago, she gave me a few samples of stained glass. So some of them are just very unique. And here I think I have about 5 lines left to do. Also, if you look at the bottom of the vase and the top of the vase, again, I wasn't measuring, but every now and then I was just looking at it from the side, and I wanted to make sure that it would look tidy. So I was trying to put them, all the pieces, start all the pieces at the same level. And like I said before, I made sure that all of the pieces, or 99% of the mosaic pieces, are staggered. So the lines are not all next to each other. So the vertical lines that you get, I wanted those to be staggered. You'll be able to see in a minute what it looks like. At the moment it looks just a little bit confusing in between, where I haven't completed it yet, but you'll be able to see it in a minute. And I'm really pleased with what I've done today. I'm removing the sellotape. It's been about 3 hours now since I started, so those first pieces of glass they're still movable, but the glue has almost dried, so it's safe to take the sellotape off. And then I'm just cutting my last 2 lines of glass. This one had to be slightly wider. You can't really see at the end. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I'm looking forward to doing next week's video. Please let me know as well if you prefer me to do the videos with the voiceover, or if you prefer it if it has the subtitles in, or if you would just like to have some music with subtitles. I can try and do that for next week. So here we go, one more line left. That piece there is the one I was talking about with the glue gun. You can see it just came off straight away. So there's your proof that you shouldn't really use an ordinary glue gun to stick glass on glass. You need a specialized glue. You can get it from Wilco or the internet or other DIY shops. And this is my last line. Again, this one was curved as well because it's like handmade glass. So I was just getting rid of the curved edge of the glass. This one's actually more grey grey-blue, but it goes well with the others. So there you see again that I just decided to move that the last minute, just to make sure my lines are staggered. And there you have it. Clean up quickly with a baby wipe. Then remove the Cellotape that I used. And that's the edge that I was talking about. And you can see how nice the vase looks. I hope, again, like I said, I hope you enjoyed my video for this week. I hope this cheers you up. The beautiful colors, and I'm looking forward to doing another video for next week. Take care of yourselves, enjoy the snow as much as you can, and I will see you soon. See you soon, bye.